Capricorn, you've been through an intense upheaval. And I have to tell you that things are tough right now for you. Maybe I don't need to tell you because you already know. But there is a way through it where you come out on top and you start to feel a bit more like yourself. So let's have a look at that. My name is Finn, and this is Magic 7 Tarot. Thanks for joining me today, Capricorn. I have already made a Magic 7 Tarot spread for you and had a chance to sit with it for a little while. It's pretty intense. And if you're not feeling that intensity now, are you awake? Take your pulse, Capricorn, because there's a lot going on here and it's a lot of energy. The great news is here, when you have a lot of energy, you can make a lot of changes. Sometimes getting the energy is part of the process, building up energy. There's no shortage of energy in this reading, and some of it is fairly destructive. So let's go through it together, step by step, and knowing that the hardest part is already over. That's what I'm going to say. So there's a way through here, but it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to manage these energies. So in the past position, we have the Arcanum 16, which is the lightning in the Brotherhood of Light Tarot, which I use, Egyptian Tarot, and it is reversed. Okay, so this is a very well-known card in all decks and usually signifies some kind of catastrophe. And I'll say that, that doesn't mean a literal catastrophe. It means, an emotional upheaval, so much energy. So a shock, some kind of confrontation. This is Mars. So if you know where Mars is in your chart, that's a good place to look at how this might express in your chart specifically. But there's no way around it. The old structures are coming down, and they're coming down. Like this is like controlled demolition, right? It's down, right? And so again, this is in the past. So you've already experienced this upheaval. Uh, on a simple day-to-day level, this might express itself as irritability or confrontation, anger, frustration. All of those can be indicated. You might feel burned. Okay, did something happen to you just recently, this is the last couple of weeks, where you expected one outcome and you're burned? Okay, this is really hard energy. The thing about it is it comes in all at once, right? And there's no way to fend it off per se. The only way through it is only way to manage it is through it. So alchemy, right? How do we transform? How do we transmute this energy so that it doesn't really like destroy everything in its path, right? That's the kind of energy we're talking about. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with, the energy within, although as above, so below. This is the Hermetic saying, right? What we're experiencing in the outside world is a reflection of our inner world. In a lot of respects, this is the philosophy at work when we're talking about tarot or astrology. So it could be something from the external world, and it's certainly in the world. It's not just you sitting around stewing in your own juices, feeling irritated. Okay, you've had some confrontation, things have fallen apart. You expected one outcome and it went in another direction, and you're angry about. You have anger, and so the most important thing now. This is reversed in Brotherhood of Light. Reverse doesn't mean more negative or negative. It just means it has difficulty expressing. So the word that came to me right there was repression. So if you have anger, you got to find an expression for it. When we repress it, we turn it against ourselves. That doesn't do anything any good. It might seem like, okay, at least I'm putting on a brave face, but at what cost? So don't hurt yourself. This is, at the bottom of this is don't turn it against yourself. If you have anger about something in the external world, you can express it in a way that isn't violent or confrontational. You can make yourself known through a letter. This is how can we tone it down a bit? Okay, and I have the moon in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And so toning down isn't exactly my strong suit. So I feel for you, Capricorn. But there's a lot of other stuff going on here. And so I hope that in the past, and this could, past into the present, it's still happening. This kind of energy doesn't just one day go away, right? It's going to linger. Okay. So, and it's affecting you into the present. So the more you can sort of say, okay, that's the past. There's a lot of energy. I'm very mad, or I'm very disappointed, or I'm irritable. Manage that conflict in a way towards not necessarily resolution, but towards feeling okay. I can tell you this: there are 7 cards in the Magic 7 tarot spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are major arcana cards for you. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of energy. Okay, it means something big's happening, and when something big's happening, you gotta stay with it, right? You can't just ignore it, and you can't run away from it. And not that you're going to run away with this energy. You're full on. Okay, in the present, I'm going to go through the past, present, future, and then we'll talk about the mitigating influences, and then we'll pull some other oracle cards and try to get some clarification. In the present, we have Arcanum 1, the Magus, the Magician in other decks, and is also reversed. So Magus is it very much resembles the other tarot decks that you might see. The Magician. So, the easy interpretation of the Magician or the Magus is will. Okay, it's also number 1, so it's the beginning of something. If this is something coming down, I need to show them in reversed all the time. This is something new starting. Okay, this is you sorting through the remnants of what's been happening and finding the part that works for you still, and the part that you're going to move forward with. I do the readings ahead of time because I have to really sit with them and meditate. And I'm meditating on this and thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much energy here. I mean, you could really reinvent yourself. I mean, you could become a totally different person with this energy. But it's all going to depend on how much you hold on to that anger and resentment. The more you can let go of that, or channel it into constructive purposes. You know, if you look around in the world, go to a construction site, that's Mars energy, right? They're building stuff, they're pouring a foundation, and they're hammering stuff together. And okay, so uh, it seems destructive, right? Because there's a lightning bolt striking the pyramid and knocking these guys on their butts. And it can be. Okay, don't take it out on yourself. The more you can transmute it into some kind of positive expression, creativity, building something rather than tearing down, that's great. So the willpower. So when we think of magic, we always think of, maybe Harry Potter or Merlin or some sort of mythical Gandalf, right? But at the core of magic is imagination. And so you have to have an idea about what you want to accomplish if you're going to cast a spell, or you're going to build a building, right? You have to have a plan. So, this is you picking up the pieces and coming up with a plan. It's a big plan, right? This is great energy. I mean, I must say also that this is Mercury. This card is Mercury, so it's thoughts, ideas, intention, expression, writing. Mercury is retrograde right now. So this was reversed, and that might maybe having an impact. When Mercury is retrograde, I used to think Mercury retrograde was such a terrible negative thing, but it allows us to go back over ground we've already covered. And so I sometimes relish Mercury retrograde as I get older, in the sense that it lets me kind of pick up pieces or finish things I've already started. Right? It's like works in progress. Right? It's a great time to go back to things you've already initiated and spend some effort there. It's a very positive card in light of this card. Okay, so what it's saying to me is that you're coming to terms with the situation, you're finding a path through it, you're exercising your willpower to get to that place that you want to be, uh, even though maybe you liked where you were and it all fell apart. And that is awful. And I'm really sorry if that's the case for you. Obviously, it's a general reading. I can't nitpick each person's specific situations. Consider me the person doing the emotional weather report. So, if these are the influences, this is the energy, infinite expressions of that energy based on your birth chart, your age, your situation. Willpower. Use your willpower. Okay? Come to terms with the situation. Presence of mind. If this is blinding rage, sorry, if this is blinding rage, this is okay. I'm ready. The dust is settled now. Let me see where I'm going next. Okay? Cleaning up after the disaster. And disaster, metaphorically speaking, when something crashes down that you're not expecting, that's a disaster. Okay, so the cleanup. The image that came to me also was the idea of the Buddha touching the earth. The Buddha was meditating, and he touched the earth, and he was present. So find your present moment. Nothing's going to happen unless you're in the moment. Okay. Okay, into the future here, we have Arcanum 14, another major arcanum, and this is the Alchemist in the Brotherhood of Light Tarot. This is a very positive card. This is practical. Um, right, everything blew up in my face. I came to terms with it, and now I'm going to make progress, steady progress. Okay, this is not dramatic progress. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other. Okay, and I'm going to get to where I want to go as determined by this card. It's a healing, right? It's gentle healing. It's Turian energies, so also an earth sign like Capricorn. And it's a balanced. If things have been out of whack and crazy and you've had to deal with that, this is a really great repose, some kind of restful action. It's not overly engaged in the sense of emotions, right? It's taking it one step at a time and putting the pieces back in place. That's hard. Okay. Whatever you've been going through, and I'd love to hear in the comments, how those three cards resonate with you, because when I see it means something came down, you came to terms with it, and then you made actually really positive action. So if you're feeling beat up, which you probably are, know that the next step is actually really gentle, caring, healing, practical one. Okay, patience, and it's asking you to be patient. Wowie zowie, that's what I'm going to say about that. That's a lot going on. I'm really sorry if some pain has you've been suffering. You suffered in the past, the recent past, some suffering. Let's look at the next three cards, because this is in fact the card that I'm most concerned with, because this is the card that is what you can control, what you need to control. I'm going to say, okay. So this is the Horseman of Coins, and it's reversed. In the Brotherhood of Light Tarot, the horsemen, horse people, those are considered thoughts. Okay. Despair. Okay, you might have a plan, and you might have survived this, and you might be making steady progress, but the thing that's going to hold you back is your own thoughts. Thoughts of self-worth. I mean, you got blown out of the water here. And so it's only right to question oneself. I mean, that's a thoughtful response when stuff goes down, right? Am I really worth it? Do I deserve it? Maybe I did deserve it. Oh my gosh. Don't blame yourself. This was not you. I mean, maybe if you unleashed your anger on someone, you got to own up to that. Okay? But when you own up to it, I'm going to turn this right side up. Okay, I'm taking care of my thoughts, and I'm taking care of my thoughts. I'm not imposing them on someone else. This is really about your how much you value yourself, your self-worth, your value. Of course, it has an expression into the world of money, cash. You know, you're worried. You know, you could be worried about where your money is coming from. If this was the end of a job, and now you got to make progress in a patient way, you could rightly have some concern about, you know, where is your next dollar coming from. But worrying about it isn't going to make it better. Okay, this slow steady progress, this will make it better. Having a plan and following through on that plan with willpower, that will make it better. I don't talk too much about my, by the way, this is my new channel. This will be my first Capricorn reading. I've been reading tarot cards since time in immemorial, longer than you've been around, as I say. Not really, but my whole adult life I've been reading tarot cards. Some part of me decided that it was time for me to make a channel and do this for people, because I think that it's something I can do to help, and I want to help. So if I could give you the, so you could like and subscribe and comment. All of those things help me, and I'll be here every month giving you some advice. This is so much energy, Capricorn, that you could easily become despondent and turn that energy against yourself. And I want you to 100% promise me right now you will not do that. You could do almost anything else, okay? But if you start feeling badly about yourself, blaming yourself, regrets, all of these negative, despair, just despair. It seems to me you do have a path and you know where you're going. I mean, no one wants this to occur, okay? This is like it all comes crumbling down. But it seems to me, even though that happened, you have a way through it, a practical way through it, very practical, strong person. The Capricorns in my life are always typified as, you know, sort of, I would say strong, but reserved. I mean, this is not Capricorn energy. This is Mars. So if you lose your crackers on some situation, that's going to be out of character. And it's easy to feel maybe you could have handled it better. Meditate on that. I want you to spend some time meditating or go into nature, or however you connect with your higher self, and remind yourself of all of the things that you've done already in your life that were positive things, that, you know, took care of other people, how you take care of yourself, how you manage your situation. Don't give over to despair, please, Capricorn. The rest of the reading also is kind of, I mean, it started pretty tough, and then but there's a way through it. And you know, one of the great things about the tarot or astrology is there's always a path. Okay, and I'm talking about the kind of most practical level here, but we'll talk about the spiritual path here. I mean, the tarot cards represent a spiritual journey, and sometimes when we get crushed unfairly, you know, we have to start a new journey. Okay, and that journey, you know, is of a million steps, one at a time. It's easy to feel like you're not going to get there. Okay, it's easy to let yourself feel that, and I don't want you to do that. Okay, this is the environment, also Major Arcanum 22. This is the Fool card in the main tarot Rider Waite Smith deck. Holy, can't find the words. And in the Brotherhood of Light deck, when it's reversed, it's a spiritual card, and when it's upright, it's a material card. So this is technically called the Materialist, and it has some pretty serious implications about the environment here, and how the environment is treating you, and what to be aware of. Um, you know, it's extreme. Okay, the environment is giving you some extreme situations. On the most kind of material level, this is like practical stuff, right? This is, material day-to-day stuff, right? It's getting on with it. But in its more negative uh, uh, interpretations, this is coercion, manipulation. Um, what else would I say? I mean, it's the difference between being coerced and cooperating. So the more, what it says to me in this situation is, there's errors in the environment. Like the environment is actually maybe messed up. So if you were in like a relationship or a work situation, you might be feeling manipulated by that situation. Maybe that's what came crashing down. And now, as you start to find your way through it, the environment itself is finding new ways to mess with you. This is a hard card. Okay, there's this. I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. I don't want you to feel despondent, right? Okay, you have to have courage. Life is about having courage and taking steps. Okay, so this is definitely one of those situations where, okay, if this is your desires and the things that you're kind of like spinning out of control on, this is saying to you, get it together. Okay, you gotta be in control of your own emotions and the situation in order to ward off attacks from other people. Harmony. Okay, can you find some harmony amidst all of this stuff that's going on? It's challenging. This is the highest. When we find it reversed, it's actually calling us the highest spiritual expression. It's the zero card, the alpha omega. It's the completion card. Okay, when it's upright, it's saying it's all about the material plane and material belongings and trying to gain unfair advantage over people. So I hope you're not. Don't do that. That's what it's saying to me. Okay, and if you're the victim of this, okay, you got to be aware of that. Okay, that you could be mistreated, but the environment is certainly setting the stage for being manipulated. There's a couple of ideas that just popped in my head here. This is like propaganda. It's misinformation too. Inversion. Taking a beautiful thing and inverting it to making it evil. Okay. I'm not saying you're surrounded by evil, but the environment itself is not giving you a spiritual basis for action. It's giving you, it's kind of cut and dry material. So make sure you're not following the negative influences of this card. Again, a bunch of ideas just flowing into me. This is the thing about having some connection to this, to spirit, is sometimes you listen in little whispers and sometimes boo, there's like 20 things happen all at once. I want you to be really careful. Okay, and if you think about the highest ideals and wanting the things that are the best for yourself, that's the way to go. The best for yourself and other people. Okay, that's what I always ask when I do a tarot card reading here. Okay, what opposes you is the three of coins. So we have another coins, also reversed, and this is like keep it to yourself. Loose talk, like scattered, emotional, random gossip. Okay, keep it to yourself. Um, it's also not taking advantage of the situation, right? So I mean, if you get caught up in this negative thinking, negative self-worth, you're not able to kind of take the most advantage of the situation. And I really want you to watch out for that. um, it's This is about action, and it's about action, about self-worth, value. So taking that action and not hesitating, don't hesitate. Again, boom, boom, they come in. It's lots of ideas happen all at once. So much energy. I don't know how else to say it. This is huge. Okay. So whatever's changing for you, you have, uh, a chance to be someone new. You have the time and the space to make that possible. If you can control your negative thinking and gossip and these sorts of waste of energy. Okay, you got to control the waste of energy and be on the lookout for being manipulated. Okay, I think only the highest thoughts of yourself and other people. Okay, and in the final outcome is change. Okay, this is Arcanum 10, and some more change is ahead for you here. So the more you can ground yourself and stay positive and focused, the more you're going to be able to ride out this change. But I see more change coming for you this month, and it's going to come out of left field again. And it's not like this falling down. It's not things being torn down and collapsing. It's more instead like something coming out of nowhere. So, one way to read this is, I mean, this is the higher octave of this. Okay, so your willpower is everything here. You will into existence this card, and we go from this to the next octave, right? This is 10, right? So this is 1, and then 1 with a completion. Okay, that's one of the ways that these cards are read numerologically. Can you bring it up a level? Can you bring it up a level, Capricorn? Certainly, this is disruptive, right? Any change is disruptive, but there's more change ahead for you. So, this, okay. Okay. I don't know who I'm talking to, but they're talking to me pretty loudly. This happens to you. This happens because of you. Those are very different expressions. This happens against you, or something comes down. Okay. This is you initiating it. Okay. So think about the change you want to be. The change. Isn't that a saying? Be the change you want to become. This is all really tough. But whenever we have this much energy, uh, I think that we have the opportunity to really make life change. So I would say that this month for you is a watershed. It's a watershed month. I'm going to take a picture of this, post it. I haven't been doing that. One day because I'm pretty new, I'm just doing the one camera. Maybe you'll do both cameras, or how would you like me to produce this? I'm sort of doing it on the fly a little bit, learning a little bit at a time. This is very focused on the physical plane. There's real practical things happening. But, the more that you stay positive and avoid this, the more you connect to your spirit guides in the astral plane. And you're able to manifest through some kind of magic a change that you want, not a change that's thrust upon you. So don't get hung up always on the physical. Capricorn is a bit practical that way, and they kind of think about material situations naturally. So how can you elevate yourself? Meditation, yoga, power of positive thinking. Do you have a favorite rock that makes you feel good? This is some amethyst I have. They were my grandmother's. They make me feel good. Put them on my cards. Speaking of cards, let's pull a couple of other cards and see what else comes up for you. Eternal Spirit, can we clarify this dramatic reading for Capricorn and give Capricorn an archetype that they can identify with this month to help them through this radical change that they're going through? I desire to know the truth. I shuffle the cards, I cut them into 3 piles, and I do that 3 times. If one pops out, I do not trust that card. It just means I'm not thinking, like right now, I'm not focusing. Some people do it differently. That's me. Desire to know the truth, an archetype for Capricorn this month. Desire to know the truth, Spirit. What can Capricorn identify with to help them through this tumultuous month? I'm going to check in with you in 2 weeks this is your lunar return reading, and we'll do a full moon reading as well. That's personal. So it would apply to your sun sign in Capricorn or moon or rising sign. Of course, the expressions are different. Soon I'm going to do a video and talk about the differences between those expressions. Okay. The vessel. Okay. Container. We have to hold on to the thought before it can express into something new. So to me, this is asking you to hold it together is what came to mind. Hold it together. But also, I think about it in relation to this, like keep your intentions to yourself, right? You know, where you're going is part of your magic that you're actualizing into the world. It's not it doesn't have to be public knowledge. I think that this card made things a bit more public than you're comfortable with. And so it'd be easy to be perpetually in the environment. This is the kind of patience, right? You know, so holding on. These are the wild unknown archetypes. So I'll read the from the book because I think there are always something in these cards that help to clarify direction or give you something to meditate upon. The vessel. The vessel may be the most powerful archetypal form on earth. It's everywhere. Cups hold liquid, stoves hold fire, our bodies hold organs, our homes hold families. Through the simple act of separation, the vessel protects what it contains. Nests protect eggs, savings account protect our earnings. Even the planets are contained within their circular orbit. When this card appears, it's time to assess what's being held together and how the vessel and how. Is the vessel too tight, too loose, broken, empty, full? Perhaps there is no vessel at all. The contents spill in every direction. This is like that. The contents spill in every direction. And then this is about holding on to it. Okay. Perhaps there's no vessel at all. Right. It is natural for structures to be formed and eventually fall apart. And the vessel has a life cycle that must be honored. Is it time for you to build, break, or repair? You must find out. Stable, strong, and graceful. Okay? It is time for you to repair, and you need to do that with the aim for the highest for everyone. More change ahead. Okay, one more card. This is such a big reading. I'm taking a bit of extra time, it seems. I have so much to say. Spirit, can we give some inspiration for Capricorn so that they can manage this energy? Hold it together, right? How do they hold it together, and what's the outcome for them? What is this change that's coming? That's what I want to find out. It's definitely saying hold it together. Draw a circle around yourself. Metaphorically, you set up a circle. Right? Burn some incense. Find a quiet place. Could be in nature, but be private, right? It's asking you to be private. Before I do these readings, I set up a circle right here on my table. Burn a little sage. Very influenced by native spirituality, and so I have a feather that I honor each of the directions. So you need to do something, you find the way you do it, okay? That's the first step in making magic, okay? In manifesting, right? We have to set up our space, close it off, become the vessel for the change. Okay. What did we get here? Truth. Capricorn, it's been heavy, okay? There's no doubt about it, right? When you know your truth and what you want in life, it makes it a lot easier to go for it. You have so much energy here to make the change and become the change that you want, despite the things that have happened to you. Stay on the high road, okay? If you're not on the high road, get on the high road, okay? Find a way to manage your thoughts about yourself, okay? Don't be your own worst enemy. Be your greatest friend and ally. because you have the energy to make it through. And I'll be excited to hear how you progress. Capricorn, I love you and I wish you the best on your new journey. And I look forward to hearing how it progresses. Peace.